Yeah.
You're a worm?
Would you still love me?
No, I'd feed you to Squirtle.
Wow. Wow. Welcome back to another episode of Josh and Kristie Stealing the Internet. I'm Josh.
And I'm Kristie. We've got some more Reddit stories for you today, so let's jump in. Would I be the asshole if I call off the wedding because of my fiancé's family tradition?
That must be one hell of a family tradition if you're willing to call off a wedding instead of just enduring it. I kind of want to say you're the asshole, but I'm not sure.
What if it's an unhinged?
Yeah, what if it's just unhinged? It just seems crazy to me that your idea is to call off the wedding instead of saying no to the tradition.
My fiancé proposed to me in February. We're planning on getting married next year. The thing is, he recently told me about a tradition he has in his family. It turns out that in his family, only the bride and all the men from her side and her husband's side can be present at the wedding. Then 2 weeks after the wedding, the women throw a separate, smaller party for themselves, where the husband is the only man.
That's interesting. Is that a culture thing? I don't know what...
She doesn't say it's a cultural thing. She says it's his family's tradition.
Okay, that's insane. It's sure not modern. I don't know if it's worth calling off the wedding over so far.
My fiancé and his family say it started when his great-great-grandmother was the only female in her family. So the women on her husband's side decided to have 2 separate parties so she wouldn't feel uncomfortable. No, I don't get that either. I asked his brother's wives and they all confirmed that they had such weddings. I also saw photos. Just all men and the bride. Honestly, the more I think about it, the more it annoys me. For many reasons. 1, I can't imagine getting married without my mother and sister and all of my friends. 2, I really hate that he never told me before. We've been together for 3 years and we immediately took this relationship very seriously. I quickly got to know his family and it seemed to me that we were close. My fiancé, however, thinks I'm overreacting. He thinks it's just a family tradition and I shouldn't worry about it, and it's weird to get rid of an entire relationship just because of something like this. He also doesn't want to even talk about a normal wedding. So, am I the asshole?
Oh, okay. Like, up to that sentence, she never gave any indication that she had, discussed it with him.
Yeah.
I was like, can you just not say no?
Yeah, just tell him no.
Tell him no. We're having a normal-ass wedding. I want my mother and father there. It's very important to me.
Okay, edit, yes, it is 100% family tradition. He's from Poland, I'm from Germany. So it's not a cultural thing.
Okay.
It's just his family that's doing this.
Up until the very last sentence, I was just assuming that you were like, I don't like this family tradition, I'd better call off the wedding instead of discussing things, but now he's the one not discussing things.
Yeah.
What is up with the communication between you two?
That's a good point, yeah. Why aren't you discussing this more in depth and why is this so important to you? Because it's obvious why it's important to her to have her mother there.
Yeah.
Right? It's very important to her to have her female relatives there for her wedding. I wouldn't want to have a wedding without all my girls with me, I feel like that would be weird. And make me uncomfortable.
It made, I guess, a bit of sense when great-grandma was doing it, but...
No, it didn't.
No, it didn't. I tried to be nice. I'm sorry. Back then, if the women had just gotten together and had a quick party, I don't even know. Yeah, where we want to be supportive of you, so... I
don't even understand why great-great-grandmother did this for her wedding. Just because she didn't have any female relatives, that meant exclude all of the husband's female relatives, too, and that would make her more comfortable? I don't think that would make her more comfortable. I feel like this is a misogynistic thing, and they're using this as an excuse now down the line to, leave the women out of this and push the women out.
I'm giving your fiancé the benefit of the doubt that you picked him out. He's a good guy. I don't like to throw out, anything too crazy. No, I don't. You should win this argument. I'm sorry, groom. You just need to accept that every single bride wants both of her parents at the wedding. Too bad. Your family tradition's weird.
Yeah, his family tradition is weird.
Just go take a photo with all the men and a photo with the women, and you're close enough.
Okay, my favorite comment, it's the second top one. just reverse Uno him and tell him about a tradition in your family that all the family is welcome. A tradition that has been going on since time immemorial.
Uh-huh.
Right? Like, that is way more of a long-standing tradition to have everybody you know and are related to come celebrate with you instead of only half of the people. Only the man half.
Is it going to be more expensive to do 2 parties?
I don't know. Because the women have a smaller party. So
the women get a smaller party, you're right.
2 weeks later. So maybe they aren't as fancy with it, so they are saving overall on the money. But usually it's the bride's family that pays for the wedding.
Yeah, I don't like this at all. Your fiance's family has a weird tradition, and as the bride, you should have way more veto power than the groom. I'm sorry, guys. It's our lot in life.
Spin it that you're so incredibly insulted that they would even suggest changing your tradition, that having all genders in the guests represents union, having your mother there symbolizes something else, couples dances, etc. I assumed it was a religious thing. The fact that this stemmed from just making sure she's not uncomfortable is wild because now it's making you uncomfortable.
Right? I didn't even consider that part.
Yeah, it made great-great-grandmother uncomfortable, but now the reverse is making her extremely uncomfortable. It's like, why is great-great-grandmother who's dead opinion matter more than the bride's?
Uh-huh. No, it's so crazy to me that you wouldn't want both your parents at the ceremony.
People are pointing out that she deserves to have the wedding she wants, too. And I'm like, they both deserve to have the wedding that they want, but his is kind of weird and unhinged.
I was like, I don't want to say that he can't have his tradition, but you kind of can't have your tradition,
and
buddy.
Like, if this was so important to him, he should have brought this up way ahead of time, because I do feel like this is kind of a deal breaker. If you're going to control my wedding to this extent, what are you going to do after we're married? How controlling are you going to be then? I would not feel comfortable giving him this much power over the wedding. You know, I just like, he has like total control. He has the final say. That's not how I want my life to go.
I don't know how he's been up to this point, but he's really putting himself in a bad light by refusing to negotiate.
And he should have brought it up earlier, because if it was that important, so that if she was not okay with it, which I don't think many women would be. I'm so surprised his brother's wives went along with this.
Right.
But
did you ask? I feel like OP said that yes, they went along with it, but she never got their opinion on how happy they were about it.
Yeah. Also, everyone wants to know, what other family traditions is he going to spring on you? I'm like, what happens when we have kids? Is like all the menfolk going to gather in the birthing room? That's weird. I'm not okay with that.
Yeah, I don't even know what to say. I can't find a middle ground here. You're not the asshole. It's crazy to me that there's no negotiation. Yeah, that's all marriage is a series of negotiations.
And I want to say his opinion matters on this, and like be like, you need to come to a decision as a partnership, which he's not willing to do. He's not willing to discuss it. But like, it is just so weird. It like, what is their reasoning, the real reasoning behind this? It makes me very concerned, and I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, and like he's just going along with family tradition.
That's
but
all
his family's so weird. Do you want to marry into this family? I don't know if you do. I do not like it.
Yeah, I feel like he's just giving into the social pressure of like, this is how the family's done it up to this point.
Yeah, anyways, not the asshole, not overreacting. You really need to make him have a serious conversation about this and come to some sort of compromise. Do not let him just make all the decisions single-handedly.
No.
If that's the way he wants to do it, you need to leave.
Yeah, that sucks that you got this far, but I guess you didn't get any farther before you found this out. Yeah,
good thing she found out weird, crazy family now, before the wedding.
Yeah, it's insane to me. You're not going to have a very long marriage if you're not willing to discuss and come to like a middle ground.
Mm-hmm.
Am I the jerk for bringing a store-bought cake to my friend's homemade-only dinner party?
I don't know. This is hard. Maybe a little bit, because it did specify homemade only, but like not everybody is good at cooking. So I feel like it's better than bringing nothing, but I don't know. I need more information.
So this just happened last weekend, and I'm still feeling weird about it. My 27 female close friend Hannah, 28 female, hosted this big dinner party for her birthday. She made a big deal about it being a home-cooked love fest. Her exact words. She wanted everyone to bring a dish they made from scratch. No exceptions.
She made it very clear, no exceptions, so I feel like you're a little bit the asshole now.
You might just have to endure getting snickered at, right? If you bring something that's bad.
Yeah, I was like, I tried.
Yeah.
I'm not a cook, but I tried.
Now, I love Hannah, but I'm not exactly Betty Crocker. I work 2 jobs, and honestly, the idea of making something from scratch sounded like a recipe for disaster. So, I thought I'd be clever and supportive. I bought a beautiful lemon raspberry cake from a fancy bakery in town. Like, this thing cost me 35 pounds and looked like it belonged on a magazine cover.
Yeah, they went all out and got, like, a real bakery cake, which, be honest, it's going to be better than anything probably anybody else would be baking to take to that. You know, that sounds fancy. But she did specify homemade with love. And you just went and bought it at a store.
Yeah, they didn't even go like, I'm gonna cheat, but I'm gonna fall sit comfortably in the middle.
Uh-huh.
I even transferred it to a nice cake stand so it wouldn't scream store-bought.
Okay, now I just feel like she's trying to trick everyone into thinking she made it.
She blatantly is saying she is, yes. Everything was fine until dessert time. People were raving about the cake, like legit going for second slices. That's when Hannah asked me what recipe I used. I kinda laughed nervously and admitted it was from Sweet Ivy's, that fancy bakery near the park. Is this an ad for Sweet Ivy's?
I know, right? I was like, she's giving the name out.
Suddenly, silence. Hannah put her fork down, looked me dead in the eye, and said, "So you broke the only rule I asked everyone to follow."
I mean, I kind of get it. She asked for one thing for her birthday, and you were like, I'm too busy to cook.
Yeah, right?
I'm too busy and important. I don't have time for that frivolous crap. Your idea is stupid, Hannah.
I tried to explain that I just wanted her to have a lovely birthday cake and thought she'd appreciate something beautiful. But she called me lazy and disrespectful in front of everyone. I was mortified.
Okay, now I feel like Hannah's being rude. Even if one of your guests is rude and doesn't follow your rules, you don't call them out publicly.
I don't know. It's a group of friends.
Yeah.
And your friend just, like, slapped a really fancy-ass cake on a cake stand. It's like, I made this. And everyone else is sitting there with their, like, garbage.
That's a little mean, but yeah.
And everybody's like, wow, OP, you're so talented and amazing. Give us the recipe. And she finally breaks and admits that she cheated. Well, I'd be a little mad, too.
Yeah. Okay, you have a point.
Later, I got text messages from some of our mutual friends saying I should have just made a boxed cake at least, and that I undermined the whole spirit of the dinner. But other friends said Hannah overreacted and that I brought a thoughtful gift. She literally loved until she knew it wasn't homemade.
That's a good point, too.
So, am I the jerk for bringing a store-bought cake to my friend's homemade dinner party?
Yes, I do think you are the asshole. Like, this seemed like something that was very important to Hannah. Like, she made sure everybody knew. Homemade, made with love only.
And there was no love in your soul.
Yes, and there was no love in your soul. You were too lazy to distribute your love. I don't know where I'm going with this. There is no love. It's just you were too lazy and you didn't love Hannah enough to put the time and effort into making something for her, which really shows that you just don't like her, value her that much, and that's kind of hurtful too. So, you're the asshole. She was very specific. If you weren't willing to make something, just don't go.
What I really want to know is, did people call dibs on, like, what they were bringing?
Oh, yeah.
Because...
like, I'll bring the birthday cake.
Yeah, because calling dibs on the birthday cake is bold when you're not going to do it. Like, yeah, that is the highlight of the whole event.
Yeah.
And you cheated. You couldn't even just bring in some, like, pasta salad for the earlier end.
I was like, bring chips and dip. And then I was like, that's not homemade either.
You know, but you could laugh about it, though. Blatantly have some chips and dip and be like, I nailed this. And just be sarcastic, confident, and you can probably get away with chips and dip. Right? Like, I made this ice myself.
Yeah, that's what they should have done, is brought the drinks and been like, I made ice myself.
This ice is pure tap water.
Froze it myself,
yeah.
But I do think that Hannah a little bit overreacted by publicly shaming you. Although maybe you did kind of deserve the public shaming since you're announced everybody's raving about your cake that you cheated on. What does Reddit think?
Reddit agrees. You're the jerk. You should have been upfront from the start that you really weren't gonna cook or bake instead of faking it. If you're not gonna participate, be honest about it.
Earlier I said if you weren't willing to cook, just don't go. Yeah, or just talk to Hannah and be like, dude, I'm terrible at cooking and I just don't have the time, but I do want to celebrate you. Is there something else I can bring?
Yeah, right?
You know, just let her know and get her okay with it first.
Top comment. I would have been adamant from the start I was not cooking or baking, so I would bring something store-bought or nothing at all, their choice. Expecting people to cook who don't normally cook is asinine. It's kind of the fun of the event, in my opinion. Like, is it that bad if you have to fail at something?
Yeah, I'm like, sure, the dish you bring is an embarrassment, but everybody's having fun with it, and like, you know.
If you go in expecting your level of quality to be, you won't get food poisoning from this. You're gonna clear that hurdle, I hope.
You hope?
Avoid meat. And then one more comment. And then you didn't even stick to the lie. She had to call out her friend for liking it. She could have just said it was a family secret or some BS, but she didn't. She told the host in front of everyone that the thing she liked was not the thing she wanted or expected. What did she think was going to happen? That the birthday girl was going to announce that she'd been wrong and store-bought was best, and then apologize for the rule everyone else managed to follow? She wanted to prove the girl wrong in front of everyone. Maybe not when she bought the cake, but certainly when she told her where she got it.
Okay, I disagree with that. I don't think lying is the way to go. Don't lie about it, because then they're going to ask you to bring it to every function.
And then you eventually have to be like...
And then when that bakery closes, you're like, I lost the family recipe. But also, I feel like bought from a fancy bakery is a lot different than store-bought. You're not really calling out the birthday girl for being wrong and store-bought its best. This isn't store-bought, this is bakery-bought, and there is a big difference in my opinion.
You bought the fanciest thing you could find.
Yeah, from a specialty store.
Right. It's your turn to read something, you horrible woman.
What?
What?
Why am I the horrible woman?
I'm certainly not the horrible woman.
Worman?
Yeah.
You're a worm?
Would you still love me?
No, I'd feed you to Squirtle.
Wow. Wow. I didn't know how you were going to be sarcastic about it, but you went way farther than I thought. That was vicious and so fast.
I thought I had a good response.
Squirtle is Kristie's childhood pet turtle, for those of you who don't realize she's the crazy lady off of TikTok.
I'm the turtle lady. Am I the asshole for not respecting fancy soap policy in our bathroom and accidentally starting a soap-based arms race?
I don't know how to react to that sentence, but I'm going to say you're not the asshole, and that your only solution in this situation is to become some sort of soap warlord. You need bubbles on your pauldrons, and you need to start hoarding gasoline and ambergris.
Okay.
Ambergris?
Yes, I don't know how you say that because I've only ever read it, but that is the whale... stuff from whales that you use to make perfume.
I was just asking if I was saying it correctly.
I don't know. I've only ever read it.
I assume you can use it for hand soap, too.
So, my wife, 30 female, bought this absurdly expensive soap from some little soap shop. It came in a tiny frosted glass bottle wrapped in twine, with ridiculous branding like hints of pine, regret, and artisanal disappointment, or something like that.
I will bet money that is not what it said.
She placed it on the bathroom counter and told me, "This is for guests. We don't have guests. Ever. Okay, maybe once every 2 months." I told her that, but apparently the idea of a guest potentially seeing that we use commoner soap is too horrifying to bear. So the fancy soap was enshrined like the Mona Lisa, untouched.
I'm going to be honest with you. Something about that title made me think this was happening in your office at work.
Oh, no,
so,
at home.
At home is... It's still crazy to me, but it makes a little more sense that your wife has guest soap.
Fast forward, I run out of my regular cheapo soap, which came in a cracked plastic bottle with a pump that wheezed like a dying guinea pig. So, in a moment of desperation and dirty hands, I dared touch the Holy Grail. Was halfway through using a single pump of the fancy soap when she walked in, looking at me like I was defiling the sacred artifact or microwaving a Fabergé egg.
Did you break a seal?
That's a good question.
That's an important question.
She said I was wasting it and that it's not for everyday hands. I was pissed. Then I did the unthinkable. I went out and bought my own fancy soap. $30. Grapefruit and cedar. Smells like if a lumberjack went to therapy. I put it proudly on my side of the sink. I declared that this was my new soap and only I have a right to use it. Suddenly, it's Cold War, soap edition. That evening, I saw over her shoulder she was searching more soap bottles on Etsy, like she wanted revenge. At this point, I now want to invite some guests over to make sure they use my fancy soap and not hers. Ha ha!
You need some sort of tally system.
Now she's mad I'm mocking her and says I'm turning cleanliness into a competition. I told her she started the soap caste system. I just refuse to be born into a lower class. She hasn't spoken to me in 2 days, but I smell amazing. Am I the asshole?
You know, honestly, I think you're a little bit of an asshole, but you're a hilarious asshole, so you get some points for that. You're an asshole in a completely harmless way. And it seems like your wife's not that mad about it either.
Top comment. It's always heartwarming to see two psychopaths find each other and fall in love. Godspeed to the both of you.
Right?
I was like, they're in a class of their own with this soap war thing. They married the right person.
They did. I hope they're happy together. They're perfect for each other. Here's my beaten husband mentality is once that cheap soap is out, I would have gone over and gotten a squirt of my body wash out of the shower and washed my hands with that.
Oh, you're so nice.
I would not have touched the fancy soap.
I think I would have just been like, no soap, just use the fancy soap this once and then, go refill the cheap soap.
Nope.
But it's a soap emergency.
Never would have crossed my mind. I would have walked out to the kitchen and used dish soap before that. Or down to the basement at the laundry sink where I've got some of that, pumice stone lava stuff for when I have grease on my hands.
You would not have...
I would not touch that damn soap.
You make me sound like I'm, extremely controlling and beat you.
I know. She didn't even flinch when I said beaten husband mentality.
I was cringing inside.
Help.
You're so mean. I don't have any fancy soap. All soap is fair game in this house. Food, on the other hand, if you touch my food, I will. You'll be in trouble. That's where he gets it. He's thinking about if he stole my donuts, what would happen.
She would cry. That's it. She would just cry, and then I would feel bad.
I would guilt him into going and getting me more donuts.
It's true. But not by asking. Just by crying. You're very food aggressive. I know this.
I'm not soap aggressive, though. So you could have used the soap. Anyways, we're way off track.
I don't know if we are.
Another comment. Please, OP, put your soap in a clear box with a small lock. Bonus points for a fancy ribbon or dressing around the box. Wear the key on a long chain around your neck.
I don't disagree about the clear box, but I think you need a little hammer next to the box. Fancy, and then just labeled in case of fancy soap emergency.
That's actually one of the next comments. New label for the usual soap. Emergency peasant soap. Break in case of guests box.
Just write in Sharpie, do better on the bad soap.
They need to have a guest book in the bathroom where the guests can write which soap they preferred.
Absolutely they do, yes.
The guests that they never have.
Or, if you don't want to have to ask your guests what they did in your bathroom, you weigh each soap dispenser beforehand.
Ah, yes. Hey, if you've made it this far into the video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It lets us know that we should keep making fun videos for you guys.
Am I the asshole for not letting my brother's kids swim in my pool, even after the cops got called?
Called the cops? What happened? But not the asshole, it's your pool. I don't understand people who feel entitled to other people's pools. Not the asshole, but why were the cops called? Tell me, I want to hear the drama.
I, 32 male, recently bought my first home, complete with a pool. Something I've worked over a decade to afford. I live alone, no kids, and I take pride in keeping the place clean and peaceful. My brother, 35 male, and his wife have 3 kids, 4, 6, and 9. I love them, but to be honest, their kids are a handful. The last time they visited, they broke a lamp, smeared food on the walls, and one of them even peed behind a curtain as a joke.
What? Oh, those kids would never be invited over again. They're peeing behind a curtain. They're definitely peeing in your pool. No. Those kids cannot come over anymore.
I think, as a pool owner, you know people are peeing in there.
But you really hope not, and
you really hope not.
You're trying to pretend that they're not.
Unless you get that special chemical you can pour in that turns a color when someone pees in.
That's not a real thing.
Is it not?
It's not.
I never knew that. I thought it was real.
I'm fairly certain that it is not. I'm pretty sure I watched someone do a whole, like, video on why that's not real, like a pool cleaning person about why that's not real and it wouldn't work.
Huh.
So.
Okay, cool. I can pee freely again.
Don't do it! No! We don't even have a pool, but no!
Their parents barely reacted.
Okay, so your brother and his wife are just bad parents and they're not parenting and have created little chaos goblins. And no, don't invite them back to your house ever.
At 4, 6, and 9, I can get over breaking a lamp and getting food on my walls. But peeing behind the curtain?
Yeah, that is... I don't even know about getting stuff on your walls. Like, that seems intentional.
I guess. I feel like you get the 4-year-old who just does not realize they have chocolate on their hand.
Okay,
and then,
yeah.
Yeah. It depends on the amount, I guess.
And whether it was intentional or not.
Yes.
If they're like, haha, funny.
Yeah.
No, they're not invited over.
So, when they asked if they could bring the kids over to swim, I said no. Multiple times. I offered to host a barbecue, but made it clear the pool was off limits. I'm not comfortable with being responsible for kids in the water, especially with how little they supervise them.
Yeah, because you're going to be in charge of making sure those kids don't drown because your brother and his wife don't care to parent.
Yeah, I was like, if you invite them over for a barbecue, I would call you a little bit of an asshole, but the fact that you're worried about being responsible for having to make sure they stay alive
yeah,
instead of your brother doing it is worrying. Well, they showed up anyway with the kids already in swimsuits.
No, you can't come in.
When I told them no again, my sister-in-law called me cold and said I was punishing the kids just because I'm bitter and single.
Yes, get out.
My brother told me to stop being dramatic and said, it's family, not strangers. They left furious. Then it got worse. The next day, I came home from work and noticed my backyard gate was ajar. I walked out and found my brother, his wife, and their kids in my pool. No call, no permission. They broke in.
I would be calling the police. Yeah, he called the cops, right? That's where we get to the point of the story where he called the cops. And yes, rightly so, get trespassing charges on them.
I confronted them and told them to get out immediately. They laughed it off and said, come on, it's not that deep. We just wanted to swim.
Get your own pool.
So I called the police. When the officers arrived, my brother claimed I'd invited them and just forgot. Luckily, I have security cameras and showed them footage of them climbing the gate and entering without permission.
I'm glad he has security cameras. Because also, they're not good at watching the kids. If one of those kids gets hurt in his pool, the brother's probably going to try and sue him. And if you have video footage of, hey, I did not invite them, they let themselves in, and they're responsible for their own kids, that's good.
I think with a pool, you almost need security cameras pointed at it these days because it's an attractive nuisance, right? Which means that you are overly responsible for it.
Mm-hmm. At least he had it like gated and stuff.
Yeah, he's got it gated. I don't think there's anything to do with I don't think that attractive nuisance thing could apply to him with the gate.
Yeah.
No one was arrested, but they got an official trespass warning. Now my parents are furious with me for dragging the police into a family matter and say I've embarrassed them. I feel like my boundaries were stomped on and my trust shattered. But I also feel a little guilty now that things have blown up. Am I the asshole for calling the cops on my own brother?
No, you didn't embarrass your parents. Your brother embarrassed your parents by not listening to your boundaries and, like, just inviting himself over to go swimming. I feel like you had a perfectly normal reaction. Like, people can't come over and just use your property without permission and without you there.
Yeah, pools are hard to maintain. Your family just turning up and using it. Like,
I would not be comfortable with that.
No.
And he wasn't, and he told them repeatedly, you know, and they're still just like, your pool is my pool. Which is not okay.
It sounds like he doesn't want to be the party house.
Yeah.
Like, I just come home from work and there's people chilling in my backyard.
Yeah, like he's single and, you know, his brother thinks he's bitter about that, but he's probably used to, like, having a quiet lifestyle and suddenly having your 3 nieces and nephews, were they all nephews? I don't know.
No gender.
Suddenly having your 3 nieces and nephews all around all the time trying to go swimming in your pool and destroying your house is not cool.
Right? They gotta run inside and use the bathroom.
Yeah.
Or they don't.
Or they don't. Either way, it's not good. They're dripping water through your house or they're peeing in your pool, and I just get your little goblins out of here. I mean, I love our nieces and nephews, but they were so well behaved. Compared to these kids, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think any of them ever peed behind any of our curtains.
Mm-mm. And none of them turned up uninvited, so.
That's the other thing. After you said no, like, I can't really blame you.
Yeah.
They just got an official warning. I have to assume that's you, to a certain extent, being like, hey, can you just tell them to go away before this escalates? Top comment. Not the asshole. They were not only disrespecting you, but your home as well. Good riddance. Hopefully they stay away.
I'm sure he told them, hey, get out before he called the police, and they were like, no.
He did.
Yeah, so I was like, once I tell you to get out and you don't, I'm calling the police.
Yeah, what are we supposed to do? Brawl? Like,
just give up and give in and let them have their way, because they're spoiled and entitled.
Yeah, it's definitely brought this on themselves. Post a no trespassing sign and never invite them over again. Get a t-shirt printed for the next family event that says, bitter and single.
Yes!
I'm not even single, but I would wear that shirt.
I would too. Am I the asshole for telling my friend I don't want to end up like her after she told me to lower my standards?
I don't know how to reply to that, because it's, I feel like both of you said something very, very mean.
Yeah, they're both assholes.
I guess so. Right now I'm saying everybody sucks here.
I, 22 female, met Rachel, 23 female, 3 years ago in university, and we became friends. For context, I have never dated before, and I am okay with that. I don't purposefully seek out relationships, and I am comfortable being by myself. I have a few close friends, and this is enough for me. In contrast, Rachel has had a lot of boyfriends and doesn't like to be single, her words. She met her husband Max 2 years ago in one of the university classes, and they quickly began dating. He isn't the most pleasant guy to be around, in my opinion, and they had quite a few big arguments during the relationship. He even tried to flirt with me, and I told Rachel about it, but she dismissed it, saying he was probably just trying to butter me up so I would help him with homework. He has told some sexist jokes in the past, too. Whenever they fought, I always told Rachel she deserves better and to break up with him. But in the end, they always made up. He proposed to her after 1 year, and they got married 4 months ago. However, after they moved in together, in the flat that Rachel's parents pay the rent for, Max became even worse. He never helps out with the cleaning or cooking, doesn't really take Rachel out on dates anymore, and whenever she tries to talk to him about it, Max tells her to stop complaining about wife's duties.
Max seems awesome.
So, a few days ago, Rachel asked me if I would like to go on a date with one of her friends from high school who is single and is looking for a relationship. I've never been on a date before, so I agreed out of curiosity. We went to a nice restaurant. The guy never asked me a single question about myself back. And after I got tired of coming up with questions about him, we just sat the rest of the meal in awkward silence. We split the bill, and after he walked me to the subway station, he tried to kiss me. I declined as politely as I could and went home.
You've never been on a date in your life, and you're better at dating than this guy.
Yeah, she's 22, has never been on a date because she's just okay being single.
Yeah, live your life.
But was like, sure, I'll give dating a try.
Yeah, I'm curious about this. Oh, wait, I got the worst possible first experience.
I'm sure it could have been worse.
It could have been, but not without him punching you in the throat.
It wasn't good. The next day, I met up with Rachel. Apparently, she already heard about how the date went from her friend. She asked me why I rejected him. I told her the reasons I mentioned before and that I didn't really like the guy. Then she rolled her eyes and said that I need to lower my standards because I'm honestly not that attractive, that I blew maybe my only chance to date, and if I continue like that I'll end up forever alone.
Okay, you have so many chances to date. I don't care what problems you might have, you have so many chances to date. It's not hard.
A 22-year-old single female. It's not that hard.
You're
Get
fine.
on any dating apps.
Yep.
But it sounds like she's maybe okay not dating.
Yeah, I'm not saying you have to. I'm just saying, like, you are. The deck is stacked in your favor at 22.
Even though she knows I'm fine without a relationship. Also, I'm not insecure about my appearance, but hearing my friends say that about me hurt. I got angry and said, better to be forever alone than end up like you, with a husband that doesn't respect me. She started crying and said that I'm being rude when she's just trying to look out for me, and then left. We haven't texted or spoken since. Honestly, I'm not sure if I want to salvage this friendship after finding out this is how Rachel felt about me all this time. However, I feel guilty for saying this to her when I knew it was a sore spot, and also for kind of blaming her for the fact that her husband is awful. So, am I the asshole in this situation?
No, you're not the asshole. I think in this situation, whoever said something mean first was the asshole, right?
And Rachel definitely said something mean. You're not that attractive. You blew your only shot to date.
Yeah, right?
You're going to be alone forever. That's so mean. I don't think Rachel is your friend. Like, I feel like maybe this person is not as good at reading other people and she thinks that Rachel doesn't like you, I don't think.
You can say all the sentiments of that sentence in much nicer ways, right?
Yeah.
Like, hey, your standards are too high, and, all the good guys are getting snapped up.
Mm-hmm.
You did not have to make it into an insult. I didn't say it great either, but,
Mm-hmm.
you could have made it about the guys, and, like, if she doesn't like someone, that just happens.
Yeah, she doesn't have to date and accept the first person you put forward.
Right? I don't know how to say this without sounding like a complete douche, so I'm going to say it on camera. Rachel's a little responsible for her husband being an ass.
Yeah, Rachel sounds like she's so desperate to not be alone.
Yeah.
She settled for the first guy that would settle for her.
Yeah, Rachel could walk off.
Yeah.
It's a sore spot. I'm sorry, you have options.
But yeah, Rachel's husband sucks. And it's kind of Rachel's fault for being so desperate to be in a relationship that she settled for this terrible guy.
It sounds like Rachel's not feeling coerced to stay in the relationship, right? I'm sorry, that wasn't even the question. I just felt like I needed to be mean to Max for a little bit.
This top comment is really weird, but made me laugh. NTA, I don't even feel any reason to go into detail because you're so not the asshole. It's like your actual booty hole just left the building. You can't poop now. That's how not the asshole you are. That's weird.
Yeah. I don't know how to reply to that. Yeah, that's not the asshole. Good for you.
I mean, she married him. She obviously had many other options and the support of her family, so her being with him is purely her choice. Maybe she's into being treated this way.
Yeah,
Sounds like no.
You know what? Maybe there's, we only have OP's side of things,
yeah.
So Max could be super cool guy when OP's not around. I don't know.
NTA, there is nothing to salvage. Friends treat each other with respect and not with snide remarks, passive aggression, and gaslighting.
Mm-hmm.
A real friend wouldn't tear you down or try to guilt you into settling. You were honest, and she crossed way too many lines.
Yeah, I don't think you were the asshole. I don't. That's all I'm just gonna keep saying
it
that over and over.
NTA, she is in a toxic relationship and she knows it, and it's showing because she has taken on that toxicity and is projecting it. She might be jealous of you as well, your confidence and self-worth. Don't get dragged down into the dirt.
Think she's trying to date vicariously through friend? Or live vicariously through friend?
I think she wants friend to marry an equally awful husband so that then they can get together and commiserate about how awful their husbands are. Oh, my husband did this the other day. Oh, I'm so done with him. Oh, my husband did that too. And she wants someone to be in her situation with her.
Again, it just kind of sounds like maybe friend doesn't have great self-confidence. And she's projecting that lack of self-confidence onto other people. Like, you need to just get a man as soon as you can.
Yeah, I do think that is definitely part of what's happening there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. I can't blame you for any decisions you make.
Yeah, but I say not the asshole.
Oh, definitely not the asshole.
Rachel was the first one to say something hurtful, and she doesn't sound like a very good friend. So I might just slowly exit that friendship and just kind of let Rachel go her own way.
It sounds like Rachel does not want to be saved from the marriage, so there's not much you can do there. Am I the butt face for leaving my friend's dishes outside his house?
I don't even know what to say to that. I mean, are you just returning his dishes? I mean, that's kind of a nice thing to do, just trying to get his dishes back to him, but he's upset you left him outside. I don't understand.
I love how anytime you go to am I the butt face or am I the jerk or anything that's not aita, the first sentence is always originally posted on aita, but they took it down.
Oh.
Every single time. They're very strict over there, I guess, because they're the most popular. I recently hosted a game night for 8 friends. I told everyone it would be at my place, and I'd handle the food. One friend, Will, offered to cook pasta for the group. I didn't mind, and everyone seemed fine with it. The night of the event, 5 friends had already arrived, and we were hanging out. Will was late, so I figured he was still working on the food. When he finally showed up with bags, we assumed he had cooked at home. But instead, he walked into my kitchen and started unpacking pots and pans.
Okay, that's a little weird. If I tell someone I'm bringing food, it's like you're bringing it pre-cooked, not showing up and like taking over their kitchen to cook it.
You try to cook at least as much as you can at home, right?
Yeah.
I was caught off guard since he never asked to cook in my kitchen. Still, I let it slide. Then he asked if he could use the chicken I had in my freezer. I had plans for it later in the week, but I said sure. He cooked, the food was good, and everyone had a great time. I feel like using the chicken out of your freezer, that's the most expensive part of cooking for the group.
Of pasta?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I spent $2 on pasta and whatever I needed for sauce.
Yeah.
As everyone started to head home, I noticed Will getting ready to leave without his dishes. I went to grab them and saw the kitchen was trashed. It was a complete mess, and since we ate off paper plates, there was no excuse on who did it. I asked, "Are you going to clean the kitchen?" He laughed and kept walking. I followed up, "What about your dishes?" He replied, "I'll get them another time," and left.
Okay. That's why you don't let people do stuff in your house like that.
Now, I don't mind cleaning up after hosting. Trash, vacuuming, moving furniture, shit like that. But this was a mess he had made and he left it all behind. So, I cleaned it myself. Washed his dishes, and later messaged him, "Thanks for cooking, but you left my kitchen a mess. I found that really disrespectful." He replied, "It's not that big of a deal. You were going to clean anyway." I said, "You volunteered to cook, didn't ask to use my kitchen, and used my ingredients. You had a month to prep. It's not my job to clean your mess." He replied, "Where did you expect me to cook?"
Your place.
Me, at your place. You have a kitchen. You didn't prepare and instead used my space and food, then left a mess. That's not okay. He brushed it off again with, "I'll get my dishes tomorrow. It's not that deep."
I don't know if I would have confronted this guy. I just never would have let him cook in my house again. If he says, "I'm going to cook food," I'm like, "Okay, but you can't use my kitchen." And if he comes up to use "Oh, you can't use it, I'm sorry. I guess we're ordering pizza." I don't know if I would have called and confronted him about it, though. That's just me personally. I feel like that's a little rude. Yeah, he was rude first, but he was nice enough to cook, even though he used your ingredients and left your kitchen a mess.
It depends.
I don't know.
Yeah, to me, it depends a lot on how good of friends you are, right?
Yeah.
Like, are you a good enough friend that you need to tell him, like, "Hey, that sucked, bro"?
Yeah.
Or
are you friends to the point where you're still trying to be very polite to each other because you're not great friends?
Right.
But he wasn't polite.
By the way, it's not that deep, a new saying that I don't know because the last group used it too.
Yeah.
What does it mean? It's not a big deal?
Yeah, it's not a big deal. Yeah. Don't read too much into it.
I like that way of phrasing it, yeah. Sorry, they said that about the pool, and I'm like, why do we care how deep the pool is?
No.
Is she worried about the kids drowning, I guess? "I'll get my dishes tomorrow, it's not that deep." I didn't reply, I was too irritated. A whole week went by, and the dishes were still sitting in my kitchen. So I packed them in a bag, drove to his place, hung it on his doorknob, and sent him a message with a photo to let him know. Later that day, he blew up at me, saying I was bitching about something that ain't even that deep. His wife messaged me too, upset I left the dishes outside.
He left them in my house. I'm upset he left them in my house.
Right?
Get him out. I don't have room to store your dishes.
Pots and pans, like half your kitchen. Do you not cooking at home?
Yeah, what is he doing without all of his dishes? For like a week?
A week, yeah, at least a week. So now I'm wondering, am I the buttface for returning his dishes to his place and leaving them there?
No, you're not the asshole. You're nicer than I would have been. I would have been like, "Dude, I can't keep storing your dishes for you. Come get them or I'm throwing them away in 3 days.
I mean, yeah, like, I might have driven them to his house, too, and just left them on his porch or something.
Yeah, I don't know. It depends on how far away he is, because that's taking time out of my day for this guy who's already been rude to me. So, it's not that deep, bro. I'm like, no, come get your stuff.
So far, he hasn't, like, said why he's upset about them being on the door. All I can think is,
someone could steal them.
Someone could just take my dishes, and, like, you ditched your dishes for a week. How important could they be? Do you not expect OP to own his own pot and pan?
Yeah. If I was going to cook at someone's house, first I would clear it with them, and then I'd be like, "Can I use your stuff or should I bring my own?"
Yeah.
And then make sure they had everything I needed. But yeah, I'm not sure I would just bring all my own stuff. That's weird. And then leave it there dirty? That's really weird.
The only times we've ever done something even close to this, I think, is when we were doing, like, dinners with friends, but we cooked as much here as we could and brought, like 10 Tupperwares when we did a fancy meal, right? Like,
and we're like, we need to reheat these 3. Can we just reheat these real quick?
Yeah, like, let me dirty, like, a couple of your plates.
Yeah.
And then I took that plate and I put it in the dishwasher.
And then we took our dirty Tupperware home with us.
Right. You take the dirty Tupperware home, wash it at home. It's not that big of a deal. Bring a grocery store bag.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was a short update.
Okay.
I've seen some comments saying I shouldn't have washed the dishes. Honestly, I felt like doing that would have been petty. And I'm not someone who believes in fighting fire with fire. I chose to wash them because I was told he'd be by the next day, and I didn't want them sitting around overnight. I'm a bit of a clean freak.
Yeah, you don't want them stinking up your kitchen.
All right, they're in the way.
Mm-hmm.
I was at my limit, and I figured the most neutral thing I could do was just leave them at his door. I'm highly considering cutting them off. There were other issues unrelated to this situation that made me realize this person just isn't a healthy presence in my life anymore. As for the comment about the thawing of the chicken, he ran it underwater. Thank you, everyone, for all the feedback.
People are concerned he took frozen chicken and just cooked it.
I guess you can do that.
Yeah, I don't know. Just cook it longer, right? I don't.
There's plenty of recipes online that are just like, here's how you cook a frozen chicken breast.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like your friend is just very inconsiderate. And I'm not sure that's the kind of person you need in your life.
Or you could stick it in the microwave and thaw it.
I don't know.
I'm sorry, I'm still stuck on the thawing of the chicken. I'm like, you just stick it in the microwave and hit the thaw button. There's 100 ways you can do that. I don't think it's... Sorry, this isn't even important to our discussion.
Raw chicken grosses me out, so I actually don't know how to, like, thaw it or whatever. It's just, you do the cooking, because meat is gross. Raw meat is so gross. I don't want to touch it. It's icky.
You like all my meat dishes, though. What are you going to do when I die first?
Become a vegetarian, apparently. Go back to eating cereal for dinner.
Top comment. Not the butt face. Where were you supposed to keep the dishes? Up your butt? He came, unprepared. He cooked your food. He left a mess. And then a reply to that. I would have cleaned the mess by throwing away everything he left, especially after his unbothered response. Not washed them, not returned them, trashed them. When he complained, I'd give him the same response he gave OP.
It's not that deep, bro.
All the comments are like, I would not have cleaned his damn dishes.
Yeah. I probably would have just because I don't want my kitchen to be a mess. Maybe I'm too nice of a person. I often feel like I'm too mean and petty, but I guess compared to these people, I'm too nice. I would have washed the dishes and, like, put them in a bag ready for him to pick up the next day.
I would really have to, like, dislike this person to shove them in, like, a trash bag and stick them in the garage or something.
Yeah, that's gross.
Yeah, that's gross. I don't want him to have to deal with that. Like, even if he was a kind of an asshole leaving, like, that is a horrible thing to sentence someone to. Having to clean a week-old pot.
Yeah, that's been sitting in your hot garage. Ew.
Yeah, hopefully he has a garage and it's not just in his entryway.
Am I the asshole for financially screwing over my sister after finding out she's close with my ex and his wife?
I mean, that seems like kind of a petty reason to screw over your sister financially. Let's hear it. I'm going to say a little bit of an asshole at this point.
Usually I wouldn't take personal advice from strangers online, but everyone in my life seems to think I'm a petty, scorned, bitter woman, which I probably am, and I need objective advice.
I'm not getting the reinforcement that I want with the people I know by name, so I'm going to go and look for it anonymously.
My ex-husband, currently 43 male, and I, 43 female, were college sweethearts. For me, life felt perfect. I trusted him completely. That's why it was so shocking when I found out he was in love with his much younger colleague. She was around 24 at the time. I won't get into all the details of how I found out, but the affair was well known at his workplace. When I confronted him, all he said was, "I'm sorry, I tried really hard not to fall for her." He didn't seem sorry at all. It felt like he wanted me to leave him, so I did. That was 6 years ago.
Okay, he was 38 when he started dating this 24-year-old?
Yeah.
Okay.
Our son was 4 then, so he left his wife and kid for a 24-year-old.
Jesus, man. Hold on. So, the title, it didn't say ex-husband, did it?
It just said ex.
Okay, that's why that's so different. When you just say ex, I assumed that there was no ages or anything, so I assumed it was boyfriend, and I'm like, I don't know, maybe you're being petty, I don't know how your breakup went, but ex-husband who cheated on you and then ditched you with your 4-year-old kid, no, I don't really care what happens to this guy.
Our son was 4 then, and it was the worst time of my life. I honestly don't know how I got through it. And because I was desperate, I wanted him to fight for me, to fight for our family. But he didn't. He was quick to sign the divorce papers and didn't even fight for custody. It was as if he had started a new life and completely erased the old one.
Mm-hmm.
It took years of therapy to feel normal again, to stop checking that woman's social media and comparing myself to her. The fact that she's very pretty and charming didn't help. His family loved her. And as disgusting as it sounds, one of our common friends even said it out loud. I don't support cheating, but I mean, look at her.
That's not your close friend.
Right? I'm like, that is a friend and not your friend. That's maybe your ex-husband's friend, but not yours anymore.
Nope, that person is not your friend. I don't care how hot this woman is. You never call her attractive and be like, oh, I get it. I get why he did the ultimate betrayal. Damn.
She is fine.
Yeah, like, ooh.
Total package deal, unlike you.
You look like you've had a kid.
Yeah, you look old and like you've had a kid. I guess that's what everyone was thinking. This one was just stupid enough to voice it out loud. So I had to cut off that group of friends too.
Good.
I know, right? I'm proud of her for that. They got married 3 years ago and now have a daughter. A picture-perfect little family. The current arrangement is that our son stays with my ex on weekends and holidays, which works fine for me for the most part. Last week, I found out my sister, 28 female, has been in touch with my ex all these years. That would have been forgivable since they were close when we were married and she saw him as a brother. But she's actually best friends with his new wife, and she kept it from me for 6 years. I only found out because she left her phone at my house, and I saw several texts from the wife. When I asked her about it, she just brushed it off and said it wasn't a big deal.
It's such a big deal.
I told her she can do what she wants, but I will be cutting her off completely. I was helping her pay for her college loans.
Oh, Jesus.
And going no contact. She called me unreasonable and said I'm being petty and unable to move on from something that happened a long time ago. She also said the wife is a lovely person and a good friend.
Oh my God, how is this woman so charming?
She's a lovely person, this 24-year-old who went after a much older married man with a kid. She's just delightful.
Everybody fucking loves her. I'm so curious. They're like, damn, she's hot. Wow, she's got a great personality.
I could totally see why he left you for her.
Right? How fucking wonderful is this man-stealer?
I don't know, right? I was like, I don't know if I could no matter how wonderful she seems, I don't know if I could get over the fact that she stole someone's husband.
Especially your sister.
Yes.
No, I am just automatically hostile to you. You'd better run into a damn burning building and pull my unconscious body out. Then I might start being friends with you.
Anyways, my sister says she will be fucked, financially speaking. I told her to go fuck herself. Somehow my parents agree with her. So, am I the asshole?
No, I can't. She's taking money from you and she can't even take your side
right?
in something like this?
I was like, yeah, you are doing her a huge solid by paying for her college loans. Like,
right?
You don't have to do that. She's your sister. You're not responsible for her. Your parents should be doing it, if anyone. So you are doing her the biggest of huge favors. And she's like, no, I'm just going to totally go with the people who ruined your life.
Yeah.
And be friends with them. And then not tell you about it even because she knows it's wrong. So she hid it from you for 6 years.
Oh, yeah. She absolutely was hiding it, right?
Yeah. How are you best friends with this new woman for 6 years and your sister doesn't know about it?
Yeah, that's insane. That's such a backstab. Although apparently this woman's worth it.
Apparently. I mean, I feel really sorry for OP because, yeah, everyone is ditching her for this new woman.
Uh-huh. What does your son think about this wonderful stepmother?
His wonderful new stepmother.
Yeah.
What does your son think about it? Does he want to go live with her and be part of that new family?
Right.
Right? I feel so bad for OP. Top comment, NTA. Your sister has the right to be friends with whom she chooses to, and you have the right to do with your money as you wish. Take the money you have been contributing to her and put it in your son's college fund. Let your ex, his wife, and your parents pay for her school loans.
Yeah.
I do kind of feel like the parents might only be mad at her because suddenly the sister has all these loans and she's going to be in financial trouble and they're going to have to bail her out.
A lot of people have loans outside of college.
Yeah.
Is it not a student loan? Like, It's not the end of the world if she has a student loan. The way that they're all reacting, I'm wondering if she got, like, a shitty loan. I would hope it's a student loan, is all I'm saying. And, like, not that you can't... Yeah, I don't know. Sister's an asshole. What do you want me to say?
So your sister only cared to have you pay her loans. That's why she kept it a secret, and that's why you shouldn't feel bad cutting her off. She needs to ask your lovely ex and his new wife to foot the bill from here on out.
She's goddamn perfect. She probably has just the cash on hand.
Yeah. Okay, someone commented and then OP replied, NTA, sooner or later, one of those perfect people will cheat again and you can eat some popcorn while all their friends take sides. And OP replied, I don't doubt that, but honestly, this woman worships my ex. From what I've heard, she pursued him despite knowing he was married. She's terrible. And he didn't resist. He's a despicable human being, and so is she. So I wouldn't be surprised if the husband ends up cheating. The ex-husband / current husband of the new lady cheats again.
I don't know. She's so damn perfect. How could he possibly resist?
I don't know.
Dead ass. I'm sorry, OP. Every single person you've ever met has backstabbed you.
Okay, why the hell do your parents agree with your sister? I hope you get some therapy and deal with all the users in your life, NTA. OP responded, my ex and my sister were pretty close all those years we were married. I mean, she's known him since she was a kid. OP is 43 and her sister is 28.
Yeah.
So her sister has known this guy since she was a little kid.
Yeah, I get that. But also, you're in your 20s. You should be able to understand that in a divorce, you have to pick a side.
Yeah. She's known him since she was a kid, so they think it's not fair for me to want her to cut him off completely. I would have been fine with that, but again, she hid this for 6 years, and being close friends with his wife is just pushing it too far. She's nicer than me. I wouldn't want my sister to be friends with my ex.
You don't have to hate him, but you can't be friends with him.
I mean,
you gotta be a supportive sibling.
I've known my brother-in-law since I was 11 or 12. And if he cheated on my sister, immediate cutoff. I would never talk to him again.
Right? It's just how it works.
And I really like him. He's a really nice brother-in-law. But no, I'm picking my sister.
Yeah, between the two of us, we've got 3 very nice brother-in-laws.
Yeah.
Now you're gonna take the sister's side every time.
Especially if your sister is the one that's wronged.
Yeah, right? Especially if the sister is the one that's wronged.
I mean, if my sister was the one who cheated, which would never happen, but if my sister was the one who cheated, I mean, I still probably would, I don't think I'd like my sister as much anymore or respect her as much, but I don't think I'd pick the brother-in-law over her.
Yeah, no, you stick with family.
Yeah.
I've been lying to my family for 25 years.
That's a long time to lie to your family. I hope it's something silly, though.
I guess it's time for me to come clean. Not because I feel too bad for what I've been doing, but because it's possible my eldest son is onto me. I have 3 kids and a wonderful wife. For more than 25 years, our family has loved doing puzzles together. Since we started, I've done something that may seem unsavory to people that don't understand the joy of putting in that final piece.
I love it because I think I knew this.
To ensure it was always me. Whenever we start a new puzzle, I take one of the pieces and hide it in a green sock that's at the bottom of my dresser. Whenever we get to the very end, we all, once again, lost a piece. We all search frantically until I'm the hero who finds it.
It is suspicious that you leave the puzzle area and go to your bedroom to the sock drawer and magically appear with a missing piece.
Right.
Little suspicious.
Little sus. Like I decided to check the bedroom.
Again, I don't know why puzzle pieces keep getting lost in there.
Yeah, it fell in my pocket. How crazy is that? Well, this past Sunday we got to completion once again. Only this time there are 2 missing pieces.
One of his kids picked up on his trick.
We began searching. It may be my imagination, but my eldest son gave me a look. It was a half smirk. I think he's onto me.
I think he is too.
Derek, if you're reading this, I have more patience than you do. I'll hold my peace forever if I need to. Find yours first, and let's end this madness.
I love this so much.
So that's the end of his first post.
Okay, I love that, and I do that too when we're getting near the end of the puzzle. I snatch a piece and just hold it in my hand.
I have noticed that you always palm a piece.
They're my puzzles, and you're just helping me with them. Okay? It's my puzzle, though. I get to put the last piece in. If it weren't for me, you would never do puzzles on your own. I'm the one who likes puzzles, and you just do it to hang out with me.
What's amazing, though, is that when you palm a piece, you get excited, like, over half the time and slap your last piece down. I'm like, there's one more piece over here, babe.
And I'm like, I didn't see that one! Because usually we do lose a puzzle, like, actually lose a puzzle piece because a cat has swatted it onto the floor somewhere.
Yeah. So then we do the frantic search, and I often find it, and you have to snatch it out of my hand.
I do. He's very nice. He does let me put the last puzzle piece in. Because he knows it's important to me. Happy wife, happy life, right?
Yeah. I'll just read one comment. Okay. Maybe it's you who doesn't know who you are up against. And then OP replied, you never think that day is here. I know it's coming, though. The son has surpassed the father.
Oh, no.
Edit. A fellow Reddit user PM'd me an incredible idea. I'm going to try and contact the manufacturer and order his missing piece.
I love it.
I'm going to find it when it arrives, then find mine immediately after. I almost feel bad when I consider how truly confused he will be.
He will be. He'll pull out his piece and be like, comparing it to the one that you put in there and be like, what the heck? Where did the extra piece come from?
I don't think he's found this thread yet because he hasn't approached me about it. So this could still work. I'm so excited. This will go down in family history. Checkmate.
Is there an update where he does it?
Oh, there's absolutely an update. I don't know. I don't remember how this goes, but there's absolutely an update.
Give me the update. I'm excited.
Well, folks, I've been duped. I got up this morning, went into the kitchen to get some coffee, and as I walked past the puzzle, I noticed that it had been completed. All pieces accounted for. I calmly and politely knocked on Derek's door and asked him about it. He denied knowing anything about it. Like, super convincing. I went back down to my bedroom, confused as ever, and just sat in bed with a blank stare. My wife asked me what's wrong, and I told her that the puzzle was completed and I have no idea how it got done. She literally started laughing like a damn hyena.
She knew about his secret hiding place.
I've always known about your dumb green sock.
Wives, they know.
I'm in shock. I'm numb. Like a damn gut punch. So as it turns out, she's known what I've been doing for at least 10 years.
Still took her 15 years to catch on.
Well, no, she said she loved watching me walk around thinking I was some criminal mastermind tricking everyone. And that's why she never said anything. She just thought it was cute how bad you were at being a little,
sneaky?
Yeah, a little sneaky boy. She wanted me to have my win while she secretly laughed and had her own fun in secret. I don't even know what to say. I'm just processing everything. I cannot believe she had this over me for so long and I literally had no idea. She noticed a decade ago that I had just one green sock.
It's the puzzle piece sock.
I just really like that sock. It's my lucky sock.
Never wear it, but It's got to be in the drawer.
Since I lost its pair forever ago and immediately knew something was up with it since I refused to throw it away. I guess that makes sense. I'm an idiot.
He needed a better hiding spot.
You could have picked a different sock.
But what if it was he lost it in amongst all the other socks? He needed a distinctive sock.
I've come to the realization that she's actually the master here. It's her house, and I should be thankful she lets me live in it. At least she promised not to tell the kids.
That's nice. Well, that's all the Reddit stories we have for you today. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Josh and Kristie Stealing the Internet, and we'll see you next time.
Go touch grass.